Hello, Australia. It is the 13th of November, 2016. Welcome to The Wall, an apologist broadcast to promote the achievements of Trump. Hosting today is Swamp Jaina, and joining me is Colonel D and Jason the Wall.
Jason the Wall.
By the look of shock on your faces,
Should he be Jason the Mexicans?
I just realised when I plug this in, you guys won't be able to hear the audio.
Oh, so
Don't worry.
Okay, we'll just laugh appropriately.
Yeah.
anyway, are we still broadcasting?
We're still broadcasting.
no, He just likes to share, technical details with our listening populace.
Just bring my whole bit down with your technical incompetence.
Here we were, thinking we'd won the election, making deals, getting all ready to take the presidency, and then Jason the Mexicans comes back in and trumps us. With a little fact about it ain't over till it's over.
Well, before we delve into what happened in the US elections, it's douchebag filterage. This week, I watched a Netflix movie called The Siege of Jettaville, or Jetto.
Was it one of the Adam Sandler films?
No.
Was it a Netflix original?
A Netflix original. See, I don't know what Netflix original means because I don't believe Netflix actually made this, but they obviously acquired the rights. And
They
distribution.
produced them. They buy the rights to them.
Yeah.
So like in the case of that comedy one that I talked about last week was the underside of the movie.
Okay.
Where they produced it beforehand and then sold it to Netflix for distribution.
Yep.
So, well, anyway, this is branded a Netflix original. I don't know if that means they produced it or not. So it's based on the book The Siege of Jettaville, the Irish Army's Forgotten Battle. So basically it covers an incident in the Congo crisis in early 1960s where an Irish Army battalion was sent to Jettaville, which is in the Catania region of Congo, which had, during the Congo crisis, seceded. And basically they were able to defend their position for 6 days with overwhelming forces. They had 155 soldiers and they defended against a combination of anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 force of mercenaries, Belgian settlers and local Luba tribesmen. So there's an interesting footnote in history with this battalion, the Irish Army, who hadn't been in any military engagements in the modern era.
So this was an Irish Army, not part of the British Army, an actual Irish.
So it was part of the UN peacekeeping force.
Right.
But this was in the early days of the UN where there was a sort of blurry line between peace enforcers and peacekeepers. So,
Right.
They served with honour and distinguishment, but the unfortunate aspect was it was sort of like the dirty little secret because at the end of this 6-day siege, they surrendered because they ran out of bullets and they couldn't get resupplied. So with the politics at the time, saw this as a dishonourable footnote in history, but in recent times it's been reassessed and obviously seen as quite a triumph of the Irish spirit and force at the time.
Well, another little footnote with Irish forces serving overseas. There was an Irish regiment during America's Manifest Destiny stage where they were invading Mexico way back in, I think it was the late 1800s. And a force of Irish went over to fight with the Americans, saw what was going on and changed sides and fought with the Mexicans.
Yeah.
Didn't work out so well for the Mexicans, though.
No, probably not.
And those extra Irishmen didn't help in the end.
Once again, the Irish got fucked.
They saw which way the wind was blowing, decided they would go against the wind and got fucked.
they seem to know which sides to pick. They're on the right side, but just not the winning side, right?
Yeah, they're morally correct, yet sadly not.
Yeah.
They were probably Clinton supporters.
So, high recommendation for that. Quite a good film. I've continued watching The Expanse. Love it. Can't recommend it.
I'm not as familiar with the Congo crisis as I should be.
Yeah, it's interesting. A UN General Secretary was shot down over the Congo. He was on his way to meet with General Shombe, the guy who actually killed the sitting Prime Minister of the Congo at the time, and they shot his plane down. And
Ballsy.
This was a flashpoint because the Catania region was one of the world's largest suppliers of cobalt and uranium at the time, and those are the primary ingredients for ballistic missiles. The cobalt for the guidance mechanisms and the uranium obviously to make plutonium. So you had both the Soviet Union and the US sort of by proxy
It's one of their proxy
region,
wars, yeah.
and the French as well interfering.
Because the French just trying to hang on to a bit of empire.
Well, they fucking love nukes as well. They fucking love them. France's favourite things, croissant, cheese, nuclear fucking weapons.
Ex-Belgian colonies.
It's nice to be stereotyping
What fucking stereotypes? And so they could caught in music and garlic wreaths around their necks while wearing striped tops and pedaling on a bicycle with said baguette. I ain't fucking stereotype that much. Can if you want.
They did
On
go
demand?
for a bit of stereotyping of the French mercenary who was leading the.
Did they?
Yeah, he had a nice cravat and quite a that sort of like ferret's bum look on his face.
That's good radio.
You're talking Charles de Gaulle. A de Gaulle look.
He did make a guest appearance.
I saw a great documentary, which was rather timely for the events that happened this week. It was called Hypernormalization, an Adam Curtis documentary. I don't know if you guys have ever seen any Adam.
Not even,
Yes, I have.
Not even heard of it.
Yeah, great one. And it flows through to pretty much talking about a lot of as he ties a lot of historic events into why certain things are like they are now, and he does this rather well.
He's known for looking at the macro level of history.
Yeah, and he brought it right up to the Trump campaign in this very most recent presidential election, and it was fantastic, great, very chilling though.
Did he predict the Trump
Tremendous.
victory?
Well, he didn't make the prediction, but he definitely towed the line that Trump was achieving well beyond where he probably should have, because I think it must have been finished only maybe a month or so ago, because it went through late into the after the presidential primaries and into the actual general campaign. So
I think Trump achieved more than Trump thought he was going to achieve. I reckon after he won the nomination for the Republican Party, he was probably pretty shocked.
we may as well step into this now, the big event of the week, which was the.
I actually had some douchebag news. It doesn't matter.
Do you want?
No, douchebag away.
Keep going.
I was. It's not as good as the Democratic primaries, but Netflix has got series 3 of Black Mirror. I watched all
I've
of that.
watched most of them, I think.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Really
what
been
was
loving
one
it.
that?
The first one with Bryce Dallas Howard and the upvote, downvote, the plummet, I think it's called. That was just amazing. And then the internet troll one with the kid, and then they set everyone up and they
That was
play them into
scary
like a
because
Saw
you could
movie.
see something like that happening. Yeah.
So good. And then the most recent one with the bees, replacing the bees with the little. You maybe haven't seen all the ones.
No,
That's
I
the
saw
last
that one as well.
They were just all really good.
I have to rewatch that one because I was binge watching it, and that was late.
I don't want to spoil them for people because it's
and
just
I
new.
fell
it's out.
asleep during that particular one.
My God, and I love the fact that there's 6 episodes this season instead of the 3 from last time. Like they're
And
getting
there
more.
was and there was the good one where it was set in that virtual reality where people were living out their days in virtual reality and stuff like that. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, I like that one. That reminded me of Altered Carbon a little bit with the putting people on ice. And the other one I really liked was the soldiers, which had the ocular implants and stuff, and they saw monsters. Like vampire things, and they were killing. They thought they were doing the right thing, and they were just killing civilians.
Yeah,
Wow.
That was like
Yeah.
really, really good as well.
because they explained it was you wouldn't do it otherwise. So
Yeah, you wouldn't do it otherwise. So that's why we did it to you.
that was really well done. And I mean, you clued into it relatively quick, but
Yeah.
but it did leave you guessing for a little while. You go, what the hell are these monsters?
And with each one again, I have to stop at the end of the. I only watch them one. I can't binge watch that series. I watch one, and then I'm like, fuck.
Mind trip.
You just sit down and consider all the morals and it's so good. Everyone should watch it.
That was a good series.
Yeah, really happy that's back. So that doesn't segue well into Donald Trump winning.
But what does? Nothing segues into a Trumpocalypse.
Before we really here, you can explain to me how the collegiate voting system works in a sentence.
In a sentence.
Or
We're never going to get that frog,
2
Franco.
sentences.
We're never going to get that frog.
So for,
Each state has a certain number of electoral collegiate votes,
yes.
and
And it's
all
based on
except-
population in the
and
state,
it's
isn't it?
it's based on
Loosely.
population to some extent, but rural states it's also weighted a little bit towards rural states because.
They still have fuck all compared to California and New York.
But
State.
they certainly it's
Florida.
not one person one vote. Is basically what it comes down to. It's not one person one vote.
But what I want to know more specifically was, can you have a situation where the collegiate votes are split in the states? Some go to one of the candidates.
There's proportionally. The rest allocate winner take all.
Winner take all.
So
Okay.
Nebraska and Maine allocate proportionally, but then they send them. But
Some votes.
that's right. Still wouldn't have got all the votes from those states.
Do they go? So there's actual people that represent that.
Yeah,
collegiate
and
vote,
there
don't
is
they?
something called the faithless
I've heard of
voter. So there is there have been cases where a person, you're meant to cast a vote as per the way the state is meant to vote, but you can decide not to, and there's been a case.
How do they get onto that?
I don't know.
Metaphorical frog.
Fuck that! I didn't go through all.
The winner.
Did anyone?
Really close race. This is, and I was worried about the Rust Belt. I didn't see that coming. When I saw that was the first sort of he basically needed. I was like, oh, fuck.
I don't think anyone was. To be honest, I thought it might be close, and I thought there was a chance that the vote might have been depressed enough that it would be closer. But everyone expected. Everyone was geared for Hillary.
I thought Hillary would win. I thought Trump would get his Republican voters out there. Like, I really thought he would contest it well. And he did. I just don't think people got out to vote for Hillary.
I was always in two minds of it, because I listen to obviously a lot of left-wing media, and they were all saying, yeah, got in the bag and stuff. All those concerns about the Rust Belt. The bag. I'm not saying there's too much going on to be.
And Cenk, who was getting panned and ridiculed for having this position, was saying you should be really. There's a certain momentum on one side, and it's not on Hillary's side. All the way through, he'd been saying you're picking an election. Like, that's where the momentum is with non-establishment. And he said there's danger, but he wasn't.
Shortly after court, I told
that thing where he predicted this is the way the electoral colleges could look.
Yeah.
And they laughed at him. And in fact,
he was under predicting Trump's win at the time.
I mean, I can't produce this. I can't produce this sound, unfortunately, because it would cut you guys out. There's actually a bit of video there showing Keith Ellison, who's probably going to be the next DNC chair. And he was saying to a news, he was on one of these news programs on their panel. He was saying you need to be worried because Trump. And this is when he was saying Trump could be the Republican nominee, and they were laughing at him, hysterically laughing at him. And little they know that he's going to be the president. But yeah, it's crazy. There wasn't much expectation on Trump's side.
I thought the most depressing part for me was the fact that no one learnt the lessons of Brexit, which is that you can't ignore these former manufacturing workers who've got no future and have been denied anyone looking after them for such a long time. And the Democrats just ignored that. They're like, oh, that won't happen here. Why? Why won't it happen here? And it fucking did happen. Like, that should not have been shocking. No one was pitching to them except Trump.
And exactly, you look at those Rust Belt states, and they're the ones she lost. Wisconsin, was it
Michigan, Ohio,
Pennsylvania. They're the ones she lost.
Yeah, if she'd lost any, I think she'd like any two of those four, it would have cost her the election.
They were the Democratic firewall.
Yep.
That was supposed to stop any Trump victory, and they all fell except for one. Which one?
The other thing that really they lose the presidency, but they've lost the House
and the Senate.
The Senate is Republican controlled, and the Supreme Court as a result of
so he had
now
3 picks or something. That
one maybe be conservative control.
It's the most worrying part.
For decades.
That is to bring on the crazy.
For decades. So this is arguably the worst defeat the Democrat Party has ever sustained in recent memory.
Yeah, and I think one of the concerning things is they don't seem to be learning a lesson from it either. I mean, the Democrats are still coming out and apportioning blame in all sorts of ways, except for the actual Democratic Party, trying to blame Jill. And it's like, no, you guys fucked up. You fucked up royally. It's just the way it is.
I'm surprised I didn't just fall on their sword. They should be like, all right, it was ours. We're our bad.
Well,
we're done.
Debbie Wasserman-Schultz is already gone, so
but she was gone before.
But she was essentially gone. It was assumed she would pick up some position in a sorry, Debbie.
Yeah.
You're gone. Yeah, she was booted. So
Yeah,
might have-
no, but it should be more. It seems to be more systemic than that. It wasn't just two people.
well, there's I mean, they're trying to apportion blame in various ways and trying to blame Bill Stein when she only got about 2% of the vote.
Is it in terms of that was down in general?
She got 2012.
Donald got 2 million less
Got
than
1
Mitt
million.
Romney.
Yeah.
But when you run into a sort
So
of a
we-
convoluted,
That's
He won
fair.
the election.
but they're that he won all these new voters. Cash, you actually had less voters.
Well, the
over.
interesting is they seem to be trying to imply some kind of mandate
mandate
to do whatever the fuck they want.
and vindication.
Well, there is vindication. They won. There's vindication. He was laughed at.
But did he really win? Hillary lost.
Yes, he did. He won. He's president.
He's got the position, but there's no vindication. You have
Comment against Hillary than it is
Yeah.
against Trump. It's not his fault that Democrats didn't show up. In fact, he did his job if the Democrats didn't. Whatever mandate they want, there's no one opposing the
This is
legislation.
what
Well,
I
they-
get thrown in my face every time.
It was he came out speaking out against the TPP. You know
That just got canned during the week. Congress, it's died its death. The Obama administration has admitted they're giving up on it.
well, it's still there though, right?
Congress has said they're not going to vote on it during the. It's basically dead. The media was printing that it's dead. Now this may not be the case.
it's interesting. If it,
They, activated this provision that it has.
I think you could definitely see an uptick in there under Trump. It may also key into a global economic. That's not good for us because it's made with Australian kind of thing.
as perhaps the absolute Trumpocalypse that it
Yeah, as opposed to
reaction videos and Hillary Clinton support around
Yeah.
days.
man Chelsea Handler, who I love on Netflix, didn't even have a show the day after morning, and they were all talking about Hillary. It was a short.
To deal with that. How's your dad, Frank?
His
Well-
very victory showed me.
Yeah.
Apparently, all my leftist views are wrong because Trump won.
You should say that because I listened to
But this
a Sam Harris had a podcast talking about it, and he's just saying the same thing. This is a complete. This shows that the bankruptcy.
Where he was very anti-Trump and refused to do that, and he's proven himself to all of us.
That's a very
You know,
clumsy
it was-
speech.
to kiss Il Duce's ring.
Yeah. It's just that shows just how much they were expecting Hillary to win as well.
It was Michael Jackson-esque moonwalking. Welcome back on those kind of cronies. If you're putting forward Giuliani and it's going to lead the force in making America,
Newt Gingrich is going to
his
be.
name has been thrown about.
What's he for? It was Secretary of State, was it, or
Attorney General.
no,
Or
that-
was Ruth?
Working with people of all races and all colours, which I thought was and all religions.
the technical difficulties got in the way? Was President roasting Donald Trump on his enemies list when he gets into power to the White House and with Obama, of course, as the president. And Obama must be just shaking his head.
Cool. One of the things to circle back on the Trump acceptance speech, at the very end, walking off stage, they started playing "You Can't Always Get What You Rolling Stones." I was like, did the sound guy fuck up and he thinks that Trump lost, or it's like the music be played by Donald Trump? I don't understand.
It's,
Yeah,
it's not the first time that's happened.
it pretty quickly changed to be.
He must have, well, as we thought, he was preparing for a loss.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. And then Hillary didn't make her speech till the next morning. Like, she did not have a speech ready. Just had no.
This was her turn.
Her consent. The stream I was watching, ABC America, that is. But I thought her speech was really wonderful. Hype man, who I'm going to miss, Joe Biden.
Who should have apparently.
Yeah, well, they were having this conversation, and Obama saying, you can't always win. And he was like, well, actually, I lost pretty bad. It's like, hey, I'm going to miss him.
There's a lot of Joe and Obama memes going.
Yeah,
I missed him.
and that's one of the things. I mean, one of the failures of the Democratic Party was the fact that they did not put. They went to a lot of effort to make sure certain people didn't run for the nomination, and one of them was Joe Biden.
Anyone
was
popular.
Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, anyone popular that might have gotten in Hillary's way. And what do you know? They ended up with someone unpopular.
Yeah.
But
Someone
Joe
unpopular with a
Biden,
federal investigation hanging over her head.
because I reckon Joe Biden.
That a week out from the elections, it came back and bit them in the
Yeah.
ass.
I mean, I'm a Bernie fan and would have loved to have seen him up there, but putting Bernie aside, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, anyone like that?
Elizabeth Warren would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
It would have been the female candidate they wanted, who's well liked and competent. Not that I'm saying Joe's
And
not
no baggage.
competent, but
She's
yeah, no
well
baggage.
baggage.
No baggage. Like,
She's well liked by the intelligista, but is she well liked by the run-of-the-mill Democratic supporter? I know Joe Biden seems to appeal across a broad spectrum, but I don't know about
Well,
Elizabeth Warren.
what you got to
necessarily.
imagine is she gets someone like Elizabeth Warren has clearly the progressive wing of the Democratic Party is well on board with Elizabeth
Yeah,
Warren.
but that's for those who understand what she's
Then
about.
there's every woman in the Democratic Party is going first woman president. They're on board because it seemed that's what they were expecting for Hillary. Actually, it didn't work out. She didn't get all the women as well. But
She didn't even get all the Latino vote.
no, she
Trump got a third of it. Probably Cubans, but Jesus. She didn't even though he was going to build a wall and kick out all the Mexicans and labelled as rapists and murderers, he
Well,
still got their vote.
as
In spite of the shit he said. Like, we can't fucking trust her.
the race either.
Donald Trump didn't either.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, there's debate about how much the Democratic Party could actually stiff Bernie Sanders. They can put their thumb on the scale about how much effect.
Going through.
That's true,
But
but he
all
could
of the
still win it with, even with that.
Sheen and the Democratic Party in general went to a lot of effort to make anyone knew any more than Bernie
Well,
Sanders.
and Leeson
There's
was
a guy who popped up for. He was in the
He had a
first.
very,
Gary,
he has a
I
very
think
special
what his
set of
name was.
skills.
You're right,
And he'll find you.
remember.
Yeah.
But these people who are absolute nobodies, so your Bidens weren't anywhere to be seen. And there
He's
was
just biding his time.
yeah,
as a right wing fellow.
Do you think Hillary's political career is over?
I hope so.
Because I can't see. You
They
coming
did
back from this.
they did announce that Chelsea Clinton would be going in there's a Democratic congressman retiring in New
If she
York
wants
City.
to do it good, every
I saw it, and I think it was Young Turks. They were saying this is simply Clintons have dragged in a lot of money from a lot, and is now so damaged. This is them saying, "Look, our brand is going forward. We're not done." And he doesn't say that Chelsea Clinton was necessarily. They're saying the Clinton brand isn't dead because
I
it's on life support.
If Hillary was younger,
I don't know,
it's
she's-
not her age.
I know-
It's more the utter defeat.
Muslim sounding name, and she lost to an orange.
but you don't have to.
Misogynist.
Orange misogynist.
You don't have to be going for the presidency to continue in politics.
Yeah.
Russian and Syrians to sort out Syria.
Well, and he's already said that he doesn't like NATO, so you'd like
Yeah.
to see, he'd be happy to see that collapse.
It is a bit of a waste of money and resources, and I'm on Trump's side, but there's different reasons. I think it's just,
Yeah.
you don't need to have military bases everywhere. Stop trying to be an antagonistic
It is
prick.
funny that this kind of guy could actually come in and do very good on that level, reduce all this military spending.
I think people are expecting big things of Trump that I don't believe he has the ability or capacity.
He might
mentally
not
or
be able.
care
To, he
factor
might not be
do
able
it.
to deliver them.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to look for the silver linings. You know.
Well, but some of the groups that he isn't beholden to is probably the military-industrial complex. But he probably doesn't owe them much, whereas...
He's talking about building the American military, making them stronger. Though.
Yeah. He's going to cut taxes but build up the military. So I don't know how you do that. I'm very confused about
Well, I mean, if he's building them up at home and he's not sending... I mean, it's
But if you're not gonna bring in
incredibly
the taxes to
expensive
pay
having
for
them
it-
offshore and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
Just bring them home. Build them up there.
Yeah, but you don't make your military great by bringing them home.
I don't know. Bring them home first, build them up, then send them overseas, much like Hitler did.
We got through almost a whole show without a Hitler reference.
Well, I mean, it's funny, right? Because
We had a Benito Mussolini reference.
We did.
yeah, but I mean, on a scale of Trump to Hitler, at what point do you panic? I mean, it's a sliding scale, fair enough. At what point do we start getting genuinely
Well,
concerned?
speaking of that sort of vein, Takeover Tuesday happened. What the alt-right was all talking about.
Oh yeah,
They got their wish.
I think if I,
In their mind. In their mind, they got.
I think
they
if I was
they're taken over.
if I was a Mexican living illegally in America, I'd be leaving. That this is at the point where it's like if you're Jewish in Germany and Hitler was in power, and he's talking about
get the fuck
that,
out.
I'd be getting the fuck out. And if I was even though if I was legal, I'd still maybe be thinking about leaving.
Well, I mean, it's all very well being concerned about what their situation might be in the future, but one of the reasons Hispanics probably didn't vote for Hillary as much is because the Democratic Party under Obama deported more than even Bush did by a million or so. So it's I mean, there's probably a lot of them people, Hispanic voters with relatives that have been deported.
Am I supposed to be shocked that Bush was incompetent in that regard too? Or is it because he's a Republican he's supposed to be evil? He's pretty stupid.
See, and it's funny you mentioned George Bush because after this election happened and they voted, the American people, those who chose to vote,
George
According-
voted none of the above.
Trump. I was thinking, how could Trump, of all people, be of a population of 300 odd million, that's the best they could come up with. And I remember George W. Bush was president.
Yeah.
So it's like, they got a precedent for this sort of shit.
They do.
Reagan, Bush.
Yeah.
Sometimes the world needs an idiot, Frank. Apparently.
It's not the idiot you choose, but sometimes it's the idiot
Sometimes it's the
you need.
idiot you need. Sometimes it's a monkey-faced idiot, and other times it's an orange buffoon. It's just what the world needs.
Yeah.
Anything else, chaps?
No, I'm done.
I think that's a show. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Wrong mouse.